Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to the first ever episode of Slip the Picks here on the Crease Dive. Today is, it's probably going to be Friday, June 9th by the time this one gets out, but I'm Jordie from Barstool. With me, as always, we've got Doogs, and we are also joined by Nick Ossello, former PLL player, current voice of the San Diego Seals, and also maybe a current, but potentially a former men's league lacrosse player. I don't know. You might be injured right now. We are also joined by Billy Football of Part of My Take. So, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. How you guys doing today? Nick, we'll start with you.
Bad. I hurt my back playing men's league, and my hopes of ever returning to the field are officially dead and gone. So, RIP my return.
Billy, what's going on? You had a huge I don't really give a shit about how you feel, Nick. You're old.
No,
like,
dude,
welcome to the club. That's just how it is now.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
I pulled my back out too.
Yeah.
I hurt my back actually playing basketball too, and then I was like trying to squat and I couldn't. So
if you hurt your back, like I couldn't even touch a squat rack. So I don't want to hear you hurt your back and we're trying to squat. That to me
it was like a little bit of a strain, but no, backs are tricky. You think it's like slip disc or like muscle?
Slip disc probably, but like, hey, I was really good at sports there for a couple years. What's a life of back problems to, be the cherry on top? Fuck me.
Billy, you should put down the squat rack and you should start working on the cardio because you were absolutely gassed after the goalie challenge.
I mean, we had no water, and it was like 90 degrees out. I'm starting to play basketball again. I'm definitely gonna start playing men's league. I forgot my bag in my truck, which is parked far from the city. So, but I'm definitely trying to hop back in on the field, play some men's league.
Be careful, man.
Are we going to work on that lacrosse shot at all? Because like from what I saw in the goalie challenge, Billy, you've got some good action to your shot. You just, a little trouble with keeping the ball in the stick before you actually shoot it. But the moment you get that down like that, the ones that you got on net, Doogs, I know you were shitting bricks a little bit.
Yeah, dude, he literally didn't know where it was going until Gutty gave him the scouting report just to put it low.
Well, the thing is, the stick I was using, I usually like a little more whip, more hold, but there was like it had no hold as you saw the ball came out. But I was ripping close to 100 miles per hour. I think definitely, if I just started playing some wall ball, actually shooting on like the net, like I haven't like actually practiced lacrosse in like probably over 7 years. So like that was my first getting back on the cage. Hitting cage is hard when you don't practice hitting the cage.
You're right for a D-midi position. I mean, I think I took like in my last season 12 shots and combined missed by about 3 miles. So it's not always about putting it on cage. It's about throwing a piss missile 500 miles an hour over the cage and then subbing and getting off.
Possession.
So don't worry about hitting cage.
I'll tell you what, it is actually like what you guys do. It's a little fucked up, like the way that it works these days where you have so many balls on the end line, you have all the backstops. Like what you guys were great for before, like you could take a shot, like Billy, I'm sure like this was like you in high school where you could take a shot and you miss the cage by a mile. All of a sudden, like that attackman now has to go run like 50 yards before he can pick up another ball. That gives your team enough time to sub out all the guys you need. Like that's the definition of a possession shot. Nowadays, like every end line's like lined up with, 8 different balls. So a guy can still get a quick restart, but
when you're as fat as I was, every second counts. Coach, it's going to be 20 seconds. I'm damn near needed a wheelchair after pushing transition a couple times. So
yeah.
Oh man, I'm gassed just thinking about it.
Billy literally after the third shot said, "I am gassed. I need a 1-minute break." Lacrosse shots.
Well, those are run-ups and they're big shots. I mean, in high school, I was a 2-way midi. I faced off. I would literally not get off the field the whole game. And sick now drag. It's like, I just remember it was that type of game. Like it was that type of team. We weren't like that organized. So it was like, just play the whole game. But now I'm like, get gassed in 2 seconds. I mean, I gotta quit. I gotta quit nicotine. Then we're back on top.
Billy, did you know that Nick played in the Fiesta Bowl?
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Wait, you didn't hear? You didn't see on ESPN? You didn't see my stat line of 0 tackles?
Yeah, wait. You played special teams at Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like to talk about it that much. So there I was, right, putting on the helmet, going into the Fiesta Bowl. It was unbelievable. But yes, I stuck around for 1 year and played in the Fiesta Bowl. Did you ever play in the Fiesta Bowl, Billy?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah. I guess it takes something pretty special to play in that game.
I played in the biggest little game in America, though.
What's that?
It's just a little D3 rivalry game.
Nice. Sounds cool, man. What was that at a sold out NFL stadium?
No, it wasn't. It was at in the Berkshires. It was pretty intense, but no, that's pretty sick.
So Billy's number 2 football. Billy, you're the number 2 football person on this podcast right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't play D1. I really wish
Let's go.
I didn't have football just attached to my name, because now I feel like such a fraud sometimes.
No, that's actually funny. So, Billy, guess who I ran into that was asking about you the other day?
Who?
Fucking no one, loser.
Yeah, exactly. See? Boom.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that.
Jordie knows that one.
I knew where it was going. I've been on the receiving end of it before. Billy, hand up. That's a bad teammate move of me for not warning you ahead of time. Yeah, but I guess we all got to read the scouting report when Nick comes on board.
I mean, it's totally fair. I fell for a hook, line, sinker.
Use that on everybody. That was the first thing that was said to me when I was a freshman, was guess who was asking about me. And the worst part is, it's like you feel so good. You're like, oh, and probably some hot girls, right? No, fucking no one.
It gets you just right in.
Yep.
But I mean, everyone listening right now, like the dozens of you, you guys can't use that one yet. You can only use it unless it's done to you. So don't steal any valor and take that one for your own. All right. So that's enough of the chit chat. Let's talk about why everyone's here. So this is going to be our I guess maybe a separate show from the Crease Dive, but just mostly talking about the gambling aspect of the PLL. We bringing on Doogs, who noted gambling boy, Billy Football, also doing a ton of work to get a whole bunch of different bets on the Barstool Sportsbook app, and Nick is just a degenerate in general, so perfect fit to bring on for this. So heading into week 2 of the PLL season, we've got a couple teams out there who they look to be it looks like Vegas wasn't quite sure what to think of them before the season, and I think that heading into week 2 we are going to correct a lot of that, mostly the fact that the Atlas are just an unstoppable wagon. So I'd go ahead and just continue riding them for the rest of the season. But heading into Charlotte, let's just get right into these games, right? Let's keep this one a little quick and simple. These games get going tonight. So Friday night, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. We've got the Chrome and the Redwoods. If you head on over to the Barstool Sportsbook app, we've got the Redwoods -1.5. On the money line, we've got Redwoods -159, Chrome as the dogs at +125. Chrome coming off of a gutsy win against the Archers. Redwoods, I mean, they had their tails tucked between their legs big time against the Atlas. Just a good old fashioned shit kicking. So Nick, hopefully we can kind of motivate your boys to have a better performance this upcoming weekend. And the over under on this game set at 23.5. So Nick, as the only guy on this podcast who has ever played for the Redwoods, I guess it's only makes sense to start off with you.
Yeah. Tough look for the boys. My insider take is it's pretty well known across the PLL that Nat St. Laurent runs one of the toughest training camps. Like, as guys were kind of winding down, he's still grinding for guys on 2-a-days. And that, makes it tough. Does that mean he's mismanaging the team? Absolutely not. It's more important to get aligned than it is to win game 1. But the reason that that's so important is because the Redwoods rely very heavily on athletic prowess. You look at their midfield, Sergio Perkovic, Miles Jones, Nakai Montgomery. If the Redwoods are a little tired or a little banged up or more fatigued, that's going to have a much bigger impact than on another team like the Atlas that relied on ball movement. So I think that coming out of camp, Atlas was going to be the best team. Redwoods were going to be the worst team. And I think that's why that game played out as it did. I also think it's worth calling out TD Ireland had to go against the best in the world in Trevor Baptiste. I think TD has the edge over Farrell historically. So I expect the Redwoods to do better in the face-off game. I expect their athletes, which again, they're a very athlete-heavy offense, particularly on the midfield side. I expect them to win a little bit of that. And finally, Dylan Malloy was a wagon. And I think there's very few people that can match up well with him. But I think a guy like Garrett Epple, who is as physical as possible, is going to really limit Dylan Malloy from being the initiator that we saw him. So all that being said, you're probably not going to be too surprised at this. I have Redwoods by 3. And I have the under hitting. I think you're going to have much better goaltender performances from Tim Troutner and Jack Kelly, 2 of the best in the game. It was a fluke that their goal save percentage was around 25. So there are a number of reasons that I'm focusing on the Redwoods and not on the Chrome, because I think the Redwoods have the biggest ability to bounce back. And I think that a line this close kind of represents that. Hammer the under, hammer Redwoods to cover.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
Who'd you play for?
I the only thing I'm disagreeing with is the Redwoods. Just like, why are they not like really, really good? Like the past couple times they've had the star power. Like, why are they not an absolute tank? They have all the big names. I just think they keep on falling short. I think Crow money line plus 125 is the absolute one of the best steals of this slate, because Chrome played well last week, and I think they could definitely get the Redwoods. Like, the Redwoods are down. I don't think they're going to be coming back as strong. Maybe they're going to have fresh legs, but I just see the value in plus 125, and the Redwoods have let people down. Like, the Redwoods are favored, but I think they're going to let everyone down once again. I'm just saying.
Okay, so final point. I mean, it's weird to talk about a 3-year-old franchise that's made the championship twice and made the semifinals once and lost in overtime. So, listen, just not saying, just saying.
I know, but they should have like 3 titles.
I know that. I know.
Like, I don't know
why my own ass here.
They just keep disappointing me.
Who are you, my parents? Jesus.
Yeah.
Last week when we were at training camp, Billy just kept being like, I can't believe the Redwoods haven't won a championship. And I'm like, if the Whipsnakes didn't win, we'd be saying, how the fuck have the Whipsnakes not won a championship? Like, the teams are really good. But
I'm just saying the future of lacrosse really is on the Redwoods' shoulders. If they don't start winning, they have all the big names. They're not. It's like the sport depends on them.
So would you say that this is a must-win game for the Redwoods?
Absolutely.
Game 2, it's already in must-win territory. I love it. You know what? Fuck it. We'll do it. Must-win game for the Redwoods, and I think they will never fail us in a must-win game.
Dude,
I just didn't know the playoffs were must-win. We forgot.
Yeah. I do like the over.
Right, Billy almost convinced me. You like the over?
Yeah. I mean, just looking at my under game is coming up next, and I'll tell you why, but I like the over in this one, because the thing is the Redwoods have to score goals to win. Like, the way they play, like they're not a defensive, like, they're not keeping a low scoring game. They got to just sort of get into a shootout with the other team. That's what happened in the first game, and happened a lot last year. So we'll see.
So the famous Redwood shootouts.
Yeah,
a lot of points.
So Billy almost convinced me to take the Chrome, but I'm definitely leaning with the Redwoods here. Look, last year, like when TD was early in his career, he outdid Farrell, which they kind of alluded to. So I think the Redwoods will get possessions that they didn't really get last week. And in the first half, TD was controlling the faceoff X, and the Atlas were still winning. So you knew it was kind of a red flag from the get-go. When Baptiste started getting his own, the Atlas really started to take off. Look, I like the way that Epple kind of matches up with this defense. It'll be interesting to see who he guards. If he guards Malloy, that's 2 big boys. Malloy had a big week last week. So I think just slowing him down, be interesting to see how Nick Turn does in his second professional game. But I really like the Redwoods here. I like the goalies to bounce back. Will be interesting to see if they do go back to the 2 goalie system. I said in the last episode of the Crease Dive, I'd like to see Jack Kelly get the start and Timmy Troutner come in. if that's the case, if they go back to 2 goalie systems. But yeah, I think Redwoods are absolutely the play here. Also, if we get points props on the Barstool Sportsbook, I would definitely look at Jules Henningberg points props. If last week's telling you anything, he's due for multi-point games every single game this season. And I like the under too. Also, I like the under. Scanoni, yeah, the under, because Billy's talking about the 2-point threats. I will say this though. Here's one thing that I'm loving about the Redwoods. I wasn't impressed with the Chrome's transition defense last week, and I think that if Serge Perkovic can do what he does on the defensive end that he showed at the end of last year, what he showed last week, get a 2-bomb on the run. He was a little quiet. Billy, that's your guy too, Serge. Nick, you didn't know this. Billy has a picture of, yeah.
Do you have like a crush on him?
Serge Perkovic.
No, dude. I just like when I was growing up, I was like Serge Perkovic. That's my favorite player. Like he plays like how I want to play.
Yeah,
I can like set you guys up or something.
He's actually probably the best flag football player to ever play professional lacrosse. Correct? Didn't you play in that? He was in that league. I think he played.
He was in that league, and like he was discussed. Like he had legitimate offers at like Illinois, Iowa, a couple of those like corn-fed white boy programs because he grew up in Michigan. So it was like he had legitimate offers as a tight end, which take one look at the guy. It's not that surprising.
Did he play with? He was on like a flag football team with either like Ocho Cinco or Tio. It was one.
No, he had Michael Vick was his quarterback.
Oh, he had Michael Vick as the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, he was catching passes from Michael Vick. It was one of those like flag football leagues were popping up all over the country at that time, and there were like one of the PLL guys, Nick Tinnell, like knew the founder and got a couple PLL guys like on that team. And Serge was like, "No, I'm legitimately good," and he was on like Mike Vick's team. It was unbelievable. Zero decibels for Sergio.
But before we close up shop on this Redwoods Chrome game, I do need a little bit of insider information, and I think Nick, you could potentially give this one to us. Obviously, we're talking about the matchup at the face-off stripe between TD and Farrell. We do need to know: do you have any intel on whether or not TD was able to make his flight to Charlotte?
I think he was able to make his flight. I think not being severely bullied goes a long way in having organizational skills. So I think while my departure is greatly missed as a glue guy, I think TD wakes up every day and praises the heavens that he doesn't have to deal with my shit.
All right. Well, if you get TD at the field on time, I do like him getting the Redwoods a few extra possessions. I think there are a few guys on that Redwoods offense who, I mean, it makes sense when you talk about, Nat's training camps being a little more than the rest of the team. Why
he's a military guy.
Why some of these guys weren't quite as productive in week one. So I would expect, a couple more shots to drop for Sergio. I think he went over 4 last week. Would expect a Matt Cavanaugh, just a greasy couple ride back goals from Matt Cav. Would expect a little bit more out of Ryder this time around. So I do love the Redwoods in this game. I don't love the over or the under one way or another. So I'm just going to take the coward's way out and not choose a side on that one. But I do love the Redwoods in that game. Moving on, the 8:45 game on Friday night. I believe that this is going to be, hold up. Let me just check to make sure that I'm not an absolute idiot here. No, so it's this one's also on ESPN Plus. We get the ESPN2 game on Saturday. But the 8:45 game on Friday night, we've got the Chaos coming off of a tight 1-goal loss to the Whipsnakes in the championship rematch to start off the season last week. They're taking on the Archers. So both of these teams coming off of 1-goal losses. We've got Chaos plus 1.5, Archers minus 1.5 on the money line. We've got Archers minus 167. Chaos is the Dogs at plus 130, and the over under this one. And again, I guess it makes sense just because you have Blaze between the pipes. But if I keep seeing these really, really low Chaos over unders, I'm probably gonna start fading those. But either way, this number's at 22.5. So Billy, Did you get a chance? Yeah, you got a chance to see the Chaos up close and
Yeah.
personal week 1 in Albany. So how do you feel about Chaos heading into this one with the Archers?
I like the Chaos here. Chaos money line. They're the underdogs. I think there's huge value there at 130. And this is my under game. Archers were under. It was a single digit score last week for the Archers. I think.
Yeah, they lost 11-10, just came up short there at the end.
Yes, so double digits, but still, even that would be under. Chaos Blaze between the pipes. He's the best goalie I've probably ever seen live. I mean, seeing him go to work live was insane. Like, I think he's definitely going to contribute to a low scoring game. And I mean, from the game we saw, they only scored about, I think, 7 goals or 8 goals. So I don't think it's going to be it's going to be a defensive battle. I think it's going to be the under, and I think the Chaos are going to come out with it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you cut out just a bit at the end there, but I think you had under and
Chaos in the under.
All right.
That kind of sucks. I hate to agree with them, but I am inclined to agree with them. I think it's also worth calling out that the Chaos offense was a bit of a mess. Word on the street has it that Austin Stotts is going to be back. I don't know if that's breaking news for you guys, but he's coming back. He's going to be on the roster. So entering a little bit of a wild card. What I don't like about that is I feel like introducing new people in a time when you're just waiting for the Bandit season to over, the indoor season to end so that you can get all of those Canadians back, they're not going to mesh. But the reason why I like the Chaos is because of 3 people, Jared Newman, Troy Ray, and Mac O'Keefe. When you have 3 legitimate 2-bomb opportunities, 3 legitimate threats, I just feel like, they hit 1 apiece. That's 6 goals right there. Mac had 1 last game. And another reason why I like the under is I've publicly kind of shit on Jared Newman for being good at shooting but bad at defending. He played an unbelievable game against the Whipsnakes. And if his athleticism and if his defensive IQ catches up to his athleticism, that is a scary, scary human being right there. And I think I saw a major hurdle in that. So between Jared Newman becoming a better true defenseman, Jack Rowlett being a staple, Blaze being in between the pipes, and them having 2-point threats on Adam Gittleman, who's a good goalie but might let up a 2-bomb here or there, I think that's going to lead the Chaos to a win. That being said, I think this Archers offense is good. I think they're very well-rounded. I just kind of like to lean into the shit show. So have to agree with Billy that it's going to be Chaos and the under, and I have it like 10-8, but they hit like 2 bombs late. So they're like down 8-6. They hit 2 bombs, and then it's like, holy shit. Troy Ray hits 1, Mac O'Keefe hits 1. Entertaining game all around for the defensive-minded folk of America.
This sucks. So I'm fuck. This is an exciting show, isn't it? But I'm going Chaos on the under too. I will say that the face-off X battle will be where I'm most interested to watch which Kelly will come up on top of the face-off battle. You saw it last week with the Archers. Oh no, that's the wrong team I was thinking of. I was thinking of the Cannons. But Archers, Justin and Ossello, the rookies out. So how will that really affect them? So that's why I'm leaning Chaos a little bit. Look, like you said, Newman, I've been shitting on him for 2+ years now. I think that I'll state it publicly. I did not think he was deserving of the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year award. But look, when you kind of accept that role as the second, third best defender and you're thriving in it, he basically shut Rambo down last week. Kept him under 3 points, which is like phenomenal. Like you said about Gittleman, if he starts getting shelled, you don't have Dobson back there. A lot of Canadians got issues with the visa right now, and Grant Ament's still out. So look, the Archers are a good offense. Their defense didn't look put together last week. You know, with the Chaos, what you're getting. The offense is out right now. I don't know if they'll be able to put up the goals that they're used to, but the defense and their staples still there. Blazes in the back end, so Chaos on the under.
I think we now have to bet Archers in the over.
Well, so that, yeah, I mean, that's where I was leaning anyway. I did kind of forget to take into consideration that the Archers won't be able to win a single face-off with the Nacio, which, by the way, I mean, Canada, just get your shit together. Come on. Nick, does Canada even exist?
I'm not sold that Canada exists. I don't think the blame is on Canada. I think the blame is in other places, but I'm trying to work my way towards not being a hostile person to the entity that might shoulder some of the blame. So could be anybody's fault. I just don't think it's Canada's, which we don't even know exists yet.
Well, either way, all blame Canada. But no, I think even with, all right, so I do think that there are going to be a lot of face-offs in this game. So that is going to be a little tough. But I just think that this Archers offense, even without Granament for this weekend, I don't know. Like, I just think what's really working for them in this matchup is the fact that all those Bandits players aren't there. And I think Doogs, you and I have talked about this. Maybe it was last week on the Crease Dive, but like this Chaos team, when they have all those Bandits players, like they're just a group of just massive dickheads, and that does not mesh well with the sweet boys of the Archers. And I think, I look at a guy like Chase Frazier, where he is like he's a guy who he's playing on the opposite side of the field as anyone on this Archers offense. And even he can get under their skin and just cause these guys to just, cry and bitch and moan. So without having all those Bandits players there, I think that that's going to be a huge sigh of relief for this Archers offense, kind of let them settle into things a little bit, even though they do have to deal with Newman. They do have to deal with Rowlett. I think that we get a little bit more out of Tom Schreiber this week. I think that it's only a matter of time before Matt Moore gets himself going. So even without Granament, even without winning faceoffs, I think that we get this Archers offense starting to click a little bit more. They don't have to worry about getting bullied by all the Bandits players. I like the Archers in this one, and I do like the 2-bomb threat from the Chaos. So probably going to be a pretty tight game. So maybe just like Archers squeaking by 2. So I like Archers on the spread, and I like the over.
Boo. Also, Jordie, do you remember what Marcus Holman said when he came on our live show?
He said a few things, but
he said a lot, but he said toughest goalie in the league. Who's got him figured out the most? Blaze.
Yeah, but then you just dish it to Matt Moore, and then
he gets
and then he gets it. Well,
if I knew Doogs was going to take Chaos and under, I could easily justify an Archers. I still think it's the under, but Archers is kind of nasty. Also worth noting, I think Trey LeClaire is due for a breakout year. Had a great year with the Seals. I've been watching them, and get ready to pop the champagne as soon as they win their first game.
I was about to say this one isn't offered on the Barstool Sportsbook app just yet, but maybe we can work it in there somewhere. What would you set the odds on the champagne celebration in the locker room if the Archers pull off this win, Nick?
Minus 45 trillion. What's the dumbest odds you could ever think of?
All right.
Who are the Archers? Who are the Archers getting as their face-off guy? Is that announced yet? He's gonna be like who they have last year, Gaffney, but like that.
Pretty well. I think he went close to. I think he jumped a couple times, and other guys had to take it, which is why Farrell's was good. But I think Inasio's, certainly a good option.
Graham Hossack also could step in at the X.
Jesus, he's fucking scary. You say his name, and I get scared.
Yeah, just block everyone off on the wings. Just let him absolutely just go to town.
Yeah, I'm gonna go lock the door. Just make sure Graham doesn't bust it down.
Couple broken wrists coming right up. All right, so that brings us into the Saturday slate of games. So Saturday, 6 p.m. ESPN2. So if you're taking the lady out to a nice Saturday night dinner, you're over at Chili's, make sure you head on over, you tell your server, hey, can you throw ESPN2 on the TV over there? Because I've got to watch the Atlas take on the Cannons. Both of these teams looking so good in week one. Atlas right now favored -2.5 on the money line. We've got Atlas -210, Cannons at +160, over under here set at 24.5. I think that Jeff Teat hits that one on his own. Atlas, they shelled the Redwoods 17-11 in week one. Cannons came out and they put a good old fashioned beat down. They put the Waterdogs into the dog house with a 16-10 win over the Waterdogs. So Nick, how do you feel about how do you feel about the Outlie and the Cannons in Saturday's slate?
I have Atlas in a blowout again. I think that the reasons that the Cannon looked really good was because they were dominating the faceoff in the transition game. That doesn't happen against the Atlas. You're going against Trevor Baptiste, and to provide some really good technical knowledge. I don't like the way the Cannon's roster was slated last week. Not enough short stick D middies and leaned a little bit too heavy into, kind of some offensive threats. I think that's fine. I think it worked out for them because they were dominating that. But when the short stick D middies get tired, when you don't have guys, Asher Nolting as a midfielder, what is he going to get back? No, he's not. And combine that with, no offense to Asher, he's just an attackman. Grew up near Wheat Ridge, by the way. But like when you have a dominant faceoff guy and attack and middies that can pick everyone apart, like they didn't even have to rely on a guy like Costabile. I'm hearing rumors that it could be Brent Adams and Romar Dennis back in the roster just to start switching up some midfielders. Like I think this Atlas offense combined with Baptiste is the most lethal thing. I think the only reason the Cannons beat the shit out of the Dogs was because they had that faceoff in transition. So I have the Atlas covering by a substantial margin, and I have the overhitting potentially, by themselves.
Billy?
I think definitely like the Cannons I've heard, even though they won, they're one of the weaker teams in the league. And I think Atlas are just going to run away with this one. I do think it's going to be an over game because I think it's going to be like Nick was saying, a lopsided blowout, and I think that might be put it over. But I mean, I'm very strongly Atlas on this. So, but besides that, I think it's just set in stone. One of those.
Yeah, I think the Atlas are absolutely going to shell the Cannons.
God, we suck. We got to get, yeah.
Well, just the fucking Cannons. I mean, this is just easy. Just like if I took the Cannons, that'd be Stephen A. Smith just trolling, because the Cannons are going to finish as the worst team in the league. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I think that last week was a complete fluke. Look, if Morocco comes out and saves 66% of his shots again, sure. If he saves them week in, week out, like, yeah, they could be the best team. But I think a lot went right for them in the first half. And like you said, it's in the second half, Stephen Kelly got fucking shelled at the faceoff X. Withers got the best of him. The Waterdogs wing play got the best of him. Now he's going against Trevor Baptiste. You're giving the Atlas offense. Like, Trevor could go 75% this weekend.
Easy.
And you're giving the Atlas offense that many possessions. This could be, I'm saying like 17-9. I'm saying an absolute shelling. You're not going to give Lyle the possessions that he needs to be able to work on his end. Like, sure, he'll get a couple points, but I'm not really liking a Lyle point prop this weekend. I think the Atlas show that they're the best team in the league, and I think the Cannons get exposed.
What do you think is going to be the bigger blowout, this game or Whipsnakes Waterdogs?
Well, hold on. Which way are you leaning on that one?
This is going to be the blowout of the weekend.
Okay.
I don't like.
You're an idiot for saying the Cannons are going to be dead last easily. I mean, that's a stupid take. I respect you. I respect what you're doing. That's
an MLM
idiot brain statement.
Who's going to finish last?
Chrome again.
That's fair. All right, the Cannons are going to finish.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, back down from that take in 1 second. I know you didn't actually believe that.
Again,
the Cannons are the worst team in the league.
No,
can't say that when you have,
because you talked me into that before, Doogs, and I'm not going to let you do it again. It is the crumb. Do I think that the Cannons are a championship contender threat? No, not really. But I also like you're saying that Lyle's not going to get the touches that he needs to get the offense going. I wholeheartedly disagree with that because I think that he just needs one touch to get the offense going where he needs it to be. I think that he's that guy. I think that people really underestimate I don't know, because I don't want to be like the people sleep on this guy when like everyone's like, no, he's like really good. Like no one's actually sleeping on him at all. Like everyone's wide awake. But I do think that Ryan Drenner, a very underrated pro. I think that Jake Fricaro adds that 2-bomb threat. Now, again, I think that, again, the Atlas are so far and away right now. They look like the favorites in this league. This offense, it's like almost impossible to figure out how you want to defend them, who you really want to focus on. Again, like you even look at their midfield and it's like, all right, like we have to put short sticks on two of these guys, and those two guys are going to murder us. I do like Tyson Bell as a short stick for the Cannons. Like, I think that he's going to make someone like I don't know who would draw the short here. Like, do you short who was getting most of it last week? Was like, sure, like Docs, maybe short Crawley. Either way, like Tyson Bell, absolute son of a bitch for anyone to have to dodge against. And then if the ball's on the ground, he's going to be real greasy about it too. So I like the Cannons' chances of keeping this one tight. So I'm not going to, but I don't know. Still, 3 goals is like, I mean, the Atlas could just rattle that off in like 5 seconds.
Well, the dumb part is like, you can have the easy takes with Atlas about faceoffs and offense and stuff like that. But like guys like Danny Logan, when you like, he's the best short stick DMD in the world right now. Ty Warner came back, and I was blown away at how good Danny Logan played. He stripped Kavanaugh on a one-on-one. Mm-hmm. That happens once every 5 years. Like, you can talk about the development of the IQ of Van Raphorst. Like, if you look smart on TV, tries to make you look like an idiot, that means you're playing galaxy brain defense. Like, there are the easy takes with Atlas, and then like if you watch them in detail, you're like, let me nitpick this a little bit. You're like, oh fuck, that's just as good as they're at, dude, as their offense or as their face-off game. Like, holy shit.
And CVO, like getting the ball off the ground and down in transition, like his stick looked insane last weekend. I mean, maybe that was something that was already happening in college, and I just like kind of forgot about. But like, he looked insane. I mean, yeah, again, like Craig Chick, like, yeah. I mean, they're solid. Okay, yeah, I'm Atlas, yeah. And I'm Atlas in the over. But I don't think I don't think that this is a game that you're gonna be able to turn off at the start of the fourth quarter. Like, I think that this is going to be tight. And all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, you know what? Actually, yeah, like the Atlas are kind of running away with this one, but you're not going to realize it until the end.
Last thing I'll call out, Stephen Kelly is slept on. He's not the best clamper in the world. He is one of the most athletic, versatile faceoff men in the world. So going to be interesting to see if he can counter against Baptiste. I don't think he can, but if he beats Withers, that's a statement coming out of the gates. And that's why, again, I don't want to sound like a dick, but it's why Doogs is the biggest idiot on planet Earth for saying Cannons are going to finish last.
See, but I think that Stephen Kelly is like the most overrated faceoff. I don't disagree with the versatility thing, but I don't think he's top 3 or top 4 in the world right now.
Did you watch him play against the Redwoods in 2019?
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
He went 17 for 17 against Ossello.
See, but then it comes to the playoffs and he'll win 2 faceoffs. Didn't you guys get a new faceoff guy?
No, it was me. I was always good. Of course we got a new faceoff guy. Fuck.
I like Bucaro a lot for the Atlas. Just speaking of players that I think I've been on his train a little bit.
I like you read the entire roster. I'm like, I love that guy.
No,
I love that guy.
It's literally every single person, but he's just one of those guys.
Hope they see this, bro.
Yeah, you can't. Once he like when he inverts to X, does the big little game. So he's just one player that I'd keep my eyes on if you're a fan.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, this will probably end up being one of those, you get the graphic of all the ESPN analysts picking one team, and then they go out and get their asses kicked. So if you want to fade the squad, I'd go heavy on the Cannons in this one. Otherwise, we're all seems to be in agreement. Atlas -2.5 plus the over. All right. In the final game of the weekend, another one on ESPN Plus. It is Saturday at 8:45 p.m. We've got the Whipsnakes taking on the Waterdogs. The Whips right now favored -1.5 on the money line. They're -141. Waterdogs, the underdogs, on the Barstool Sportsbook app at +110. Over under here set at 23.5. Billy, you were mentioning that this was had the potential to be one of the bigger shit kickings of the weekend. So I think we're on the edge of our seats right now, trying to figure out which way you're going to go with this one.
I think the Whipsnakes are going to blow out the Waterdogs.
As a part owner,
scumbag move,
dude. I mean, the Waterdogs, they get it. Like, they did finish first in the league last year, but they just have no swag. They're just like, I don't know. They just don't. I don't know. They don't do it very much.
You're gonna say that to Eli Gobrecht's face after he goes between the legs on a pole goal?
True. But I think the Whipsnakes are gonna put easily win this one. They might have to grind it out. It may not be a huge shit kicking, but I don't think the Dogs got it.
Well, just real quick, talking about the Waterdogs not having any swag. Let's shamelessly promo here. If you head on over to store.barstoolsports.com, you can get yourself your own Waterdog swag. We've got plenty of shirts in the store. The Mikey Slosser tee is unbelievable. I need about 8 of those so I can wear one every day of the week. Nick?
Yeah.
He's cutting out.
Sorry. I was going to say that made the rounds in all of our group chats as like the funniest shirt that's ever been made. So props to you on that one.
Yeah, the Slosser tee is incredible. The Sours tee is awesome. We've got some rope hats, the dog face shirts. So Billy might not think that the Waterdogs have any swag on the field, but you can have Waterdog swag off the field. Head on over to store.barstoolsports.com.
No, the shirts are awesome.
Nick, your thoughts on the game?
So I actually was not impressed with the Whipsnakes this past week against kind of a weird chaos roster. And I think the biggest reasons that the Waterdogs blew it was, and I hate to say it because I think it should be banned and everyone who takes one is a loser, but because of the face-off matchup. Stephen Kelly being the most athletic face-off guy going against Withers, who's a known counter guy. I think Withers is going to have a much better game against Nardella, who is athletic, but not quite as athletic as Stephen Kelly on his exits. And the Waterdogs are going to place a huge premium. In years past, the Whipsnakes have just been good on offense, defense, transition. Waterdogs looked like a bag of shit in transition. I can't expect them to look that bad again, 2 games in a row. And with the Whipsnakes offense, no offense to Mike Chin and Chuck, if he's the number 1 point producer, when you have Matt Rambo, when Zed Williams is still playing for the Mammoth in the championship, I like the Waterdogs to win this one. I did not see anything against the, Whips beat the Chaos. The Chaos roster is a mess right now. The Whips barely squeak out when they have most of the staples besides Zed. They didn't impress me, and everybody was like, "Oh, classic, back to the Whipsnakes." And I'm like, guys, look at this team. Their offense isn't nearly as deadly. Their transition can be stopped, as we saw. And I mean, I really don't think you can have a defensive unit of the Waterdogs that's, consists of guys like Withers and even, Gobrecht and Burns and Courier to an extent when he's pushing transition. So I honestly think the Waterdogs rebound in a big way and beat the Whipsnakes, which is the start of the collapse of the Whipsnakes empire.
This is a fun podcast. I completely agree. The one thing is, I think the Withers, I do think Withers did a good job in the second half against Stephen Kelly, and I fully expect him to carry that momentum going into this week. And you nailed it right on the head. The Whipsnakes looked like shit last week. The Whipsnakes looked awful, and everyone was like, "Oh, like this, the ship snakes. Oh, to buy the stock now, they're unbeatable." It was 8-7. They grounded it out. Kyle Burnlore needed a fucking amazing second half to keep that one within reach for the Whipsnakes. So, yeah, I was not overly impressed with them at all. I do like the under in this one. I still think that the defensive units are still strong for both teams. I fully expect. Look, the first half was a disaster for the Waterdogs. It'll be interesting to see how they respond this week, but they just can't finish slow. I mean, they can't start slow again because Dylan Ward. They have got to have the Mammoth win because they need Dylan Ward back in a big way. DeLuca didn't look. Yeah, DeLuca didn't look bad. He looked really bad, but yeah, they need him back. They just can't drop this one. I like the Waterdogs a lot in this one, actually. I was trying to find the stats on it, but I feel like Withers also got the best of Nardella last year. So yeah, like the Waterdogs, and I like the under.
See, I see the Whipsnakes. Obviously, I mean, they might not like it just because they're a whole bunch of Terps, but like the Whipsnakes and Duke right now at this point made pretty similar as February Duke is the same thing as the June Whipsnakes. They know that they don't have to be playing their best ball in the first week of June. They know that like they're going to be in the playoffs anyway. And then whoever they come up against in that first round of the playoffs, they're going to shit kick. Whoever they come up against in the semifinals, they're going to beat them in overtime. And then they're going to be playing in their 4th straight championship. So like, did the Whipsnakes go out in that first game against the Chaos? Like, and think, oh, hey, like we really need to put a showing on here. Like, yeah, like we got to play for our pride because we lost the championship game last year. Like, no, they didn't give a shit. They're like, dude, it's the first week.
Mentally in Montauk already.
Yeah, it's like it's the first week in Albany. Like, yeah, it's just after Memorial Day weekend. Like most of those guys were probably still celebrating the national championship. So they're like, all right, like whatever. So they weren't going to look great against the Chaos anyway. Plus you look at the roster, like, all the bandits are out of there. Like we can just be in cruise control. Turns out like the first half, they were like, shit, all right, maybe we can't, maybe we'll shift into like an actual gear here. So I don't know. Like I wouldn't put that much stock in that first game from the Whipsnakes. Same way that you can't put that much stock in the first game for the Redwoods because of the way that the camp is run. So you can't work for one team and then not work for the other. Also, I think what people are really overlooking here is the matchup, the Rambo versus Sowers, right? You've got Rambo, the king of Philly, Sowers, maybe the prince, right? And this is going to be just a good old fashioned, like old bull, just taking down the young calf, being like, hey, like call me Daddy Rambo from now on. I'm going to have 5 goals and 2 assists in this game. And the Sowers curse is going to live on. The Waterdogs have not ever won a game that Michael Sowers played in. So I do love the Whipsnakes in this one. I also love the over as well because I'm not crazy about Bernlohr or DeLuca. Also, I'm not crazy about the idea that Ryan Brown can play another lacrosse game where he goes 0 for 5 shooting. So I think that he'll get himself on the score sheet a bunch. But yeah, so I like the over and I love the Whipsnakes in this one. It's the Philly Bowl. One more time.
Winners all across the board for us.
Yeah,
there's got to be a winner out there somewhere.
We can't be
Someone
wrong.
Yeah, someone's
good
right.
job, Billy. I mean, tough to hear your criticisms of the Dogs. I mean, game 1 and there's just no hope of a bounce back. I think
they definitely will bounce back, but not this week. They might end up winning the league.
Nice save.
That was a 180.5, Billy.
What?
You go, they're gonna get demolished.
I think they're done. I think they're dead. I think they're terrible. Oh yeah, they're gonna bounce back.
Well, they could not this, but not this week though. That's what I'm saying. Not this week.
Oh my God,
Billy, it was one good save, which is pretty much more than the Redwoods had all of last week.
Yeah, true.
I thought that would get a little bit more out of Nick.
See, I wanted to bite, but you're dangling cheese out in front of me, and I'm not going to bite the cheese. Not falling for that trap, Jordie.
All right. Well, all of those lines are available on the Barstool Sportsbook. Doogs and Billy, do we have anything that people should be on the lookout as we get closer to the weekend as far as bets go, as props?
Yes, we're gonna have the Rabel coming out, as well as Top Cheese, which is going to be combined over of 2 games that we're going to be picking closer to the time, and they're all great value, and you should definitely go on to the Barstool Sportsbook and take them.
Yeah, the Top Cheese went 1-0 last week. I think it was boosted from +250 to +280. So yeah, that nice hit, and then the under in the Rabel hit, which is the total goals in week 1. So keep your eye out on that. Hey, Billy, how did you come up, by the way? How did you guys come up with the Top Cheese parlay? Did you think of that name?
Yeah, well, I thought of the name and I chose the games because I knew that I didn't choose the chaos. I just choose not bad goalies, but goalies with the lowest save percentages.
Can I help like workshop the names of those bets or no?
The Rabel's
Top Cheese.
Yeah.
There should be one called the high and late, like the over hits and then the game goes into overtime or something. Like that's gold right there.
True.
Billy,
True.
that's I mean, you just gave me an exclusive.
We got
to come on and shove you in a locker on episode 1, but you know.
We'll get a group chat going. We'll workshop it all. But yeah, I mean, head over to the Barstool Sportsbook app, get your picks in. And yeah, I mean, stay tuned for some more episodes of Slip the Picks. Anything else before we get out of here? Oh, I do want to mention, just because we now have a gambling show, I don't want to speak for everybody here, but I feel like most of you guys will agree with me. This does not give you guys the green light for all the anonymous gambling Twitter accounts to come into our mentions.
Those are the worst.
And give us, like, if you're a regular person on Twitter, you use your name and your face. send us picks all you want. You got some winners, I'll listen to them. But if you're an anonymous lacrosse Twitter account that has your profile pictures from Google Images, and you say that you have winners and winners only, I don't care. So
we're up 70 units. That's cool. Do a gainer off of a cliff.
Not
Playing
into
the
water.
festival one time.
Yeah.
No, but also the cool thing about this show is we don't keep records. So we only count
winners.
winners.
Yeah.
Losses don't count.
Oh, can we
So
count
we'll see who has
winners?
the most winners.
Let's count winners, but like not. So it's just like we're all like 7-0, like 8-0.
Yes. Yeah, then someone will
And
be up
also
someone will
worth
be down.
calling out, like if I have any NLL as a broadcaster's humble brag, I think I have to do like gambling integrity training. So all these lines I'm hammering, super duper hypothetical. So there's that.
Yes.
Oh.
This is all just picks. We're not gambling.
Yeah, this is just picking stuff. This isn't what I'm going to be Venmoing someone to bet for me.
Yeah, like this
No,
is just
If you have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. If you need help, so please gamble responsibly.
and gamble responsibly with the Barstool Sportsbook. We're just shamelessly plugging all over the place.
That's the only place to gamble that's responsibly is the Barstool Sportsbook. Everywhere else,
I've been saying that for years, actually.
Yes.
Like not even
Yes.
plugging anything. That's just what I believe in my heart.
yeah.
Yes.
Let's sign out of here, boys. Good to see everybody, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. see
Love you
ya.
guys.
See ya.